Are you guys excited for Christmas? Perhaps not. For some people, Christmas is amazing, and they should consider themselves to be fortunate because that means that they have some health and vitality that other people are struggling to find. A growing number of people are finding Christmas to be not a good holiday. It's not it. They struggle through it. And this is apparent in the increase in drunk driving tragedies that happen over the holiday season, to where this is not caused by excessive celebration. It's actually the opposite. So, in order to figure out where Christmas is going wrong, we're going to have to think about what Christmas was, what Christmas is today, and where Christmas needs to be in the future. Historically speaking, Christmas was a spontaneous holiday full of impromptu activities. And during the early days of Christmas, since it was a relatively new holiday, no one knew what they were supposed to be doing. And people found freedom in that, to where some people played games, others had dances, some people sang, people went on hunting expeditions, other people traveled for the day. And people found freedom in this. Compare that to modern day Christmas. Christmas today is heavily scripted, to where there's an unofficial script that you're supposed to follow. And so you do. If you look at the Christmas carols, it's apparent that we don't really know what we're supposed to do during Christmas. I mean, think about it. Roasting chestnuts on an open fire, nobody does that anymore. Dreaming of a white Christmas, I don't know anyone that wants that, really. And here's my favorite: dashing through the snow in a one-horse sleigh, ringing bells and laughing. Nobody does that. That's not a thing. You can't do that even if you wanted to, even if you paid to do that. The liability insurance on that would quickly drive the price beyond what most people would be willing to pay. Further complicating the situation is the collapse of gift giving. This happened years ago with the shutdown of the brick and mortar stores. The widespread availability of items on Amazon became too great. There was nothing that I could buy for someone that they couldn't buy themselves if they really wanted it. And so we shifted to the irrational behavior of exchanging gift cards of equal value, to where I would give someone $10 to Starbucks and they would give me $10 to Starbucks, and we would take our $10 to Starbucks and walk away with what amounts to, $1 of raw materials in coffee. And so some people are catching on. They're asking themselves, why do we do this? Year after year, we do the same thing, and we don't know why we do this. The answer to this actually goes back to the time of the 1880s. Yeah, there was a famous researcher, and his name was Ivan Pavlov. He did research on dogs, and he uncovered this phenomenon that we called classical conditioning. And so he was able to train dogs to get inside their brains. He was able to train them to feel hungry at the sound of a bell. And the dogs couldn't control this. He manipulated them. He rang a bell, and they automatically felt hungry. Now, this phenomenon is used heavily by advertisers and marketers. And so this is why you hear Christmas carols and jingle bells earlier and earlier every single year, to where it's not ringing a bell at dogs in a laboratory. They're now ringing bells at you over the airwaves. And when you hear this signal, it signals to you that it's time to start acting irrational. Spend too much money. But it's okay because it's something that we call Christmas. Now, I know what you're thinking. Christmas is about spending time with friends and family and loved ones, coming together and sharing, and that's exactly it. That's exactly what it's supposed to be, but for many people, they don't have that. That's not available to them. And so for people that suffer through the holidays, there is a way. And I think that the answer lies in not following the script anymore. So for those people that struggle through Christmas, here's 10 rules that I think would definitely help. Okay, rule number 1, don't take time off. I know you're supposed to take time off, but maybe there's something better that you could be doing. Maybe vacuum out the car, clean out the garage, help somebody around the house, get a project done. Don't take time off. Go ahead and do something that improves your living environment. It's only going to help and make you feel better. Rule number 2, don't watch TV. Don't watch the Christmas movies. It's all just nonsense anyway. You'd probably feel better if you turned the TV off. So don't take time off. Don't watch TV. Rule number 3, get rid of stuff. Instead of acquiring more junk, get rid of junk. There's got to be a closet or a junk drawer or somewhere, some way, some junk that you could get rid of. It would probably make you feel better to do the opposite of what you're supposed to do. Rule number 4, don't sit inside where it's nice and warm. Don't do that. It's actually better for you to go outside. By the time by the time Christmas comes around, you're probably, deficient in vitamin D anyway. So if you could find a day that has some sun, get outside. Rule number 5, exercise. Well, now that you're not watching TV, now that you're outside in the cold, you're going to have to move. Any exercise is good. Get warm. It's a proven fact that exercise uplifts your mood and carries out for the rest of the week. Rule number 6, eat some real food. We eat so much junk food and sugar and flour and just junk during the holidays. It would do some real good to find something real and make it last. A good rule of thumb is anything that falls off a tree is good to eat. So like an apple would be excellent to eat. Nuts would be good to eat. By that logic, eat a squirrel. A squirrel can fall from a tree. I mean, it's got to be better than the massive amount of junk food that we eat over the holidays. 7, have a real conversation. So many people nowadays are distracted by their phones, and it makes it to where you're never really listening, or you're never really thinking about what you're saying because you're multitasking. Having a real conversation with someone would go a long ways towards reconnecting with the world. Turning the phone off is probably one of the best things that you can do over the holidays. It's not good to just sit there and stare at a box of flickering, flashing noise for that long. Rule number 8, get back to nature. And I'm not just talking about going outside and, appreciating the beauty of nature. I'm talking about just natural living. One of my favorite things to do is to just sit by a creek, chill out, and take a very long time to eat something. Back in the old days, people had to work very hard for their food, and then they had to process the food, which took forever, And in modern day times, calories are far too easy to get. I think it's a more natural way of living to take your time and to just enjoy something good to eat in a natural environment in a state of peace of mind. Rule number 9, simplify. Whatever you can do to simplify your life, get rid of something, say no to something, forego something, anything that you can do to simplify would definitely ease people's minds. Rule number 10, look to the heavens in some way. Now, I don't know what you should believe in, and I don't know ultimately what Christmas should mean to you. But I do know that people who struggle can find solace in this idea that the strongest, toughest people ever on earth all had one thing in common, and that is that they were all religious Stoics. Something to think about.